That would be very problematic. I think it is good to have competition with China, between the U.S. and China, but a Cold War, I don't think, is a win-win for anybody. It's a lose-lose, and I would hope that we wouldn't be going in that direction. As far as funding the WHO and the letter that President Trump sent, I think that the general consensus is that the United States has more clout and more influence if it's involved in the WHO. But the WHO has something to say in terms of something to tell us about its very poor performance in terms of this pandemic so far. It needs to be neutral. It needs to be objective. It needs to function as the World Agency for Health and not under the influence of any particular country. So
Dr. Mirowais, you are of the view that WHO has to be very much independent. These are some sort of the allegations which are also raised by President Trump. I'll take this point to Mr. Tenjin. Mr. Tenjin, do you really think that the accusations which are raised by President Trump, who continuously said that there was a delay in sharing of the information by the WHO, and then there was also condemnation by the WHO regarding the travel restrictions, and there was certain other accusations continuously raised by President Trump, and that is why he threatened in a recent letter to the WHO chief of freezing the funding to the organization permanently. Do you think this threat actually prompted the adoption of the resolution? Because China initially was of the view that this investigation should be happening, but after the pandemic is over.
Well, I would still agree with that assessment. I mean, right now you're in the midst of a pandemic. Diverting resources and attention away from the cure towards trying to assign blame is not very productive. Now, in terms of Donald Trump's strategy, let's not make any bones about this. This has nothing to do with the health issue. It has to do with Donald Trump is locked in an election campaign. He spent 54 days twiddling his thumbs, not getting